This is Nathan from BetterBibleTeachers.com. I want to give you some cool ideas on how to teach the woman at the well as an interesting, fascinating Sunday school lesson. Just a note, this video is designed to inspire your lesson. You can use whatever ideas you get from this video, no problem. However, this isn't designed to be a classroom video. Like, I'm not talking like I were speaking to kids. I'm really talking to try to help you get some ideas on how you can do it yourself. What I want to do is I want to make you the best teacher you can be by giving you maybe some cool ideas. So what I did to get into The Woman at the Well is I picked some TV shows that the kids might like. I picked Jessie and I picked Phineas and Ferb. These are like Google images you can find really easy. By the way, I didn't know if the kids would know who Jessie was from the Disney Channel, and boy was I wrong. All of them knew it. Took a chance. It paid off. So what I did is I talked to them about these TV shows, and then I introduced the idea of what if there was breaking news while you were watching Phineas and Ferb, and that news was your deepest, darkest secret. What if across the bottom of the screen it said, I have no real friends, and your name was beside that? Whatever your secret is, what if your secret was on a Disney Channel TV show? How would you feel? So as you kind of explain that, you build up a little bit of this tension of like, oh, what if my secret was on the bottom of the Disney Channel? Like, what would I feel? Like, what would class be like the next day? Like, what would school be like? Would people treat me weird? Because they can imagine watching Disney, so a TV show. So this is kind of how I set the Woman at the Well story up. So we transition from that to Jesus, who is in Judea, and he's at the bottom of this map. And he's traveling to Galilee, and he has to go through Samaria. Now we all know, I think we all know a little bit that Samaria is not a good place to be, but I want to show you some interesting tips I found on just how bad it was um, between these two people. Let me see if I can. Here we go. So there was actually a quote from a Jewish. Here's a quote from a Jewish saying, "May I never set eyes on a Samaritan." So Jews not only didn't like each other, they didn't want to ever have to see a Samaritan. Um, in my notes, you'll find that the Samaritans were actually at one time they were Jewish people. There was a small group of Jews who were left over after Nebuchadnezzar had taken them all captive, and those Jews had married and they'd become an impure race. And so the real Jews, if you will, didn't like the pretend Jews, which were the Samaritans. So a lot of detail, but again, it's kind of interesting stuff. What it does is it really makes this Samaritan like, I mean, they basically have the cooties. And then you can see the traditional route. There's some argument whether or not that was traditional or whether that was just like the route that some people took. But anyway, that's there, so kind of a cool map. Um, by the way, if you see me refer to these notes a little bit here, you can get these notes at betterbibleteachers.com/notes 1. So if you want these notes, there are about 10 pages worth of copy and pasted notes. I provide the links to where I got them. These are not my notes, if you will. These are just kind of research I've done to try to make this lesson a little more interesting. So as you read through them, you may find some cool stuff you want to add. So again, betterbibleteachers.com/notes 1. As we continue on with the lesson, next I showed them this picture. I think this is still from a YouTube video. So I had him ask me, I asked him, I said, okay, so what do you notice about this woman? One of the key things here is that she's alone. Going to the well is a very social event, and the fact that she's alone really speaks to the fact that she's an outcast. No one likes her. She probably didn't have any friends. She's also going in the middle of the day. People didn't go to the well at the middle of the day. They went in the morning or in the evening. So she's very much socially not accepted, and good chance people don't like her. Just imagine. She probably went around and asked, do you want to come with me? And most people said no. So she gets to the well, and then we move to Jesus' first statement. Now, the cool thing here is Jesus initiates this conversation. So as you're teaching this, you can almost act like, the woman's at the well about to get her water, and then she hears someone. And he says, give me to drink. And in the woman's mind, this set off like a huge reaction because men didn't talk to women. So what I did is I found this, big alert sign, and I said, I just said, this woman didn't, this is kind of the reaction she must have had. Did an alarm actually go off? No, of course not. But, just kind of fun. So when Jesus said, give me to drink, this was kind of the thought in her head like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? And she actually responds. She says, how is it that you are a Jew? You're asking a drink from me because I'm a woman of Samaria. Like she reminds him, I'm a woman, I'm a Samaritan. Hey, Jesus, the Jews have no dealings with Samaritans. Now, she doesn't know he's Jesus yet, but she reminds him of the unacceptableness of him talking. Again, if you refer to the notes I have at betterbibleteachers.com/notes1, you can actually see there's a couple really crazy things in here. The first century Jewish man thanked God that he was not born a Gentile, a slave, or a woman. It's not that these early first century people thought that women were totally worthless. It was really the idea that the woman's place was in the house. She was to take care of the kids, she was to take care of the house. But as far as the working world, the law, the first books of the Bible, all that kind of stuff was reserved for the men because the women weren't smart enough. Like literally, like they weren't allowed to read the law. They didn't think they could understand it. So there were lots of taboos about speaking to women. One other one you'll find in this notes is the bruised and bleeding Pharisees. If you go to, this is near the bottom. It says here that this type of Pharisee was typified by the idea of him walking with his head down or turned away to avoid looking at or bumping into women. So this was literally this was men avoiding women by not looking at them. I mean, this is ridiculous. So all this is good information to tell the kids, and it's kind of funny. Like I actually acted out the bruised and the blind Pharisee. I had somebody come up, put their head down, and walk into a wall. It's kind of funny. So you can kind of build up this tension here of Jesus initiating a conversation with a woman from Samaria. So the conversation goes on, and eventually Jesus says, "Go get your husband." Now, just to note, go get your husband was that didn't necessarily set off alarm in her head. That would have actually made this conversation a little more culturally acceptable. But then the woman says, I don't have a husband. And that's when Jesus says, you're right, you have 5 husbands, and the 6th, and the man you're living with now, is not your husband. So at this point, she realizes, like, whoa, I'm dealing with someone very different here. I'm dealing with someone who knows all about me. He's just told me my big, dark secret. So this is kind of where you bring in that idea of like, oh man, Jesus just told her deepest, darkest secret. At this point, you've been talking for a while again, so I like to break it up. What I did is I used a little bit of trickery. I did a disappearing water trick. So you can find it at betterbibleteachers.com/water trick. I don't want to make this video like 35 minutes long. So it's there, it's free. Go take a look. It's a very easy way to make water disappear using magic slush powder. If you want to Google that, whatever, or check it out, that link, it's all there for you free, and it's a great way to, again, break up the constant talking that we all do when we're teaching. So after you do the trick, what I did is I came back with one final idea. I said, so Jesus just revealed to this woman her deepest, darkest secret. So what is her reaction? She goes into town and she says, come see a man which told me all things that I did. Like, that's unbelievable. If someone just told you your deepest, darkest secret, you would say, oh, please don't tell anybody. But that's not her reaction at all. Her reaction is, hey, I want everyone to come meet this guy. He just told me everything. Like, hey, all you people who don't like me because you know I'm living with the guy who's not my husband? I want you to come meet this guy. See, this woman realized that Jesus knew everything about her and he still loved her. And that's where you tie back in. The Disney Channel is probably never going to reveal your deepest, darkest secrets, but there is someone that already knows your deep, dark secrets and loves you anyway. So again, it's kind of a cool way. Maybe you have some ideas on how you can teach the woman at the well and kind of use that idea of Jesus revealing her dark secrets, and then her reaction is, oh man, this is awesome. You got to meet this guy. It's not to say, Jesus, don't tell anybody, please. It's come see a man which told me all things that ever I did. Again, this is Nathan from BetterBibleTeachers.com. Feel free to check out the site. There's cool stuff to download. There's me in a fishing t-shirt, as you can see from the screenshot. So all kind of fun stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you.